First of all, good afternoon. Thank you for coming out to listen to us today and learn a little bit more about us. I did have the third draw, but Paul said he was going to donate $1,000 to my if we would switch.
And the pastor.
So
Thank you, Paul.
I said, my name is Gary Terry. I live in Danville, Virginia. Three things that I want to do today. Three things I want to impart to you today. Number one, I will tell you a little bit about myself. Number two, why I decided to run. And three, some of the issues that I think are important in the district. And I say that, but we're here today to also learn what you think is important in the district. So let me tell you a little bit about myself without going into too much detail. I grew up in a small town in Western Kentucky, just like Danville. I grew up in a housing project. I was raised by a village. Sometimes, that village, I'm sure got pretty frustrated with me, but that's okay. I graduated from high school, and I gained an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point. I graduated from West Point with a degree in engineering and spent 5 years in the military. At the end of my military stint, I went to work in corporate America, worked for 2 different Fortune 500 companies. Then I wanted to do something different, so I worked for a Russian company, believe it or not, a Russian software company. And I had the opportunity to visit Russia, spend some time there, spend some time in some of the other, third world countries. It was a good experience. And then 12 years ago, I made the big decision to get out of corporate America and come into the nonprofit sector. So I worked with the YMCA as an executive director in Cincinnati, Ohio, and in Columbus, Ohio. And as of late, I am the CEO for the Boys and Girls Club in Danville, Virginia. Okay? So that's my background, but a resume doesn't tell you about the person. So I want to spend just a couple of minutes because I call myself a servant leader, okay? When I was in high school, I would spend time at nursing homes, visiting with seniors. When I was a cadet at West Point, I joined a group called Fellowship of Christian Athletes, so I worked with young people. And then throughout my professional career, I've been with civic organizations that, focused on family and kids. I was the board chair for elementary school. I was also a board chair for a youth development organization. And as of now, I am a member of the Lions Club, vice president of Lions Club. I'm a member of the Rotary Club. I'm a member of Kiwanis. I'm a Mason. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that I am for Big Brothers Big Sisters. My good friend Pat Daniels is the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'm our mentor for Little there, and it's been probably the joy of my life to watch this young man develop. So that's who I am as a person. Now, my goal is to take all of this professional knowledge that I've gained in the for-profit sector and in the nonprofit sector, and then to pair that with my passion for helping people. I want to pair that so that I can represent you here in the 5th District. That's my goal. Now, that's not the reason that I'm running. The reason that I'm running are twofold. One, I see a lot of the things, the suffering that are there in the community in Danville. I see, the housing shortage. I see food insecurities. I see, our kids are under trauma because of what's happened over the last few years of the pandemic. So that component is about helping people. The other component is that I also see a lot of our rights are being eroded, taken away from us. We have people in our government that want to take those rights away. The rights of women to be able to make choices about their own body. You can see voter suppression happening in a lot of states. You can see the rights of our brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community are being trampled on. So I tell folks, when I was a cadet at West Point, I took an oath, and that oath was that I would protect our democracy and our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath does not have a shelf life. I still believe in that. Now, I had gone so far as to say somebody like Bob Good and that group, they're enemies of our Constitution because of the things that I just talked about. They're enemies of our Constitution. And so what I think our 5th district, we need someone that is going to fight those folks, okay? I can tell you, after 4 years at West Point and 5 years in the Army, I know an enemy when I see one. Those are enemies. Someone said, Gary, but you can't call Americans enemies. And I said, yes, you can. I said, if you go back to 1860s, we had a group of folks in some states that wanted to secede from our nation. And it caused one of the greatest loss of life in the history of our country. Or back in the 1940s, when we had Americans wearing swastika armbands, you know, those were enemies. And as late as January 6th, just a few years ago, when we had folks trying to stop a legal vote in our country's capital, those are enemies. So I cannot stand by while this goes on. If we don't take a stand now, you know, I hate to use the cliche that this is one of the most consequential elections, you know, in the history of the United States. It is. It is. If we don't do something and stop right now, at best, we'll have a country where a few people are determining who has rights and who doesn't. At worst, we could be living under a dictatorship. I can't stand by and watch that happen. So that's the second reason that I'm running for office. Second reason. Now, let me switch over and talk about what I think are some of the few issues that we have. I already talked about rights being trampled, okay? Right for the woman to have choice, or rights of our LGBT community, rights of voters are all being trampled. On a local level, I just talked about food insecurities. There's a lot of that in our district, a lot. Housing shortages, affordable housing, that's a lot of that in our district. Economics, we want jobs here. We want jobs. So those are some of the more local issues that I see, and I'm sure there's more, and we'll have a chance to talk about that. But on the national level, I'm big on national security. I believe we should support Ukraine. We have to do that. We are the leaders of the free world. And we had a president that says, you know, forget NATO. If these countries don't pay, then let Russia do whatever he wants to with them. That's a treasonous, You can call them what you want to. But that's treasonous. So we have to be able to support NATO. We have to do that because we're the leaders of the free world. We do have to do something with our southern border. You know, there was a bill that came up some weeks ago that would have funded the southern border, funded more judges and more Border Patrol agents, but it was tabled because the ex-president told his minions he wants to use that as election fodder for 2024, okay? On health care, we have to protect Social Security, we have to protect Medicaid, we have to protect the ACA. We also have to protect the rights of women. Yes. That is a very, very, very big thing. One of the things I would do once I am your congressperson, I will work to codify the woman's right that was there in Roe. That's what I want to do. And when we talk about the economy, one of the things I believe that the federal government can do is provide infrastructure and also protect the citizens. We need to be able to bring funds to this district so that we can grow our economy. We need to be able to be competitive with the other districts and with other states. A year ago, there was a Ford Motor Company that wanted to build a plant in Pittsylvania County, and our governor nixed it. It would have created 3,400 new jobs. If I had been your congressman, I would have been hopping up and down on that governor's desk as why in the hell would you not let this happen? We need that in our district. We do, okay? So those are just a few of the issues. You know, they deserve more than a 30-second soundbite. So what I want to tell you is this. I'm going to be here, the other candidates are going to be here so you can talk to us, so we can understand what our position on the issues. But I need to ask this from you. I need your support. I think that I'm the best candidate because my background has been in negotiating building teams, building consensus to get things done. I am not a talker. I like getting things done. And that's what we need here. The congressman that we have right now has done nothing. And I hate to use his name, but he's good for nothing. He has done nothing. That's the only time I'm going to say anything about his name. So I need your vote. I need your vote. I need your support. Get out and let your family and your friends know that, that Gary Terry is here. Okay? Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking with you.